Entrepreneur's M&A Journal, episode number 49.
Welcome to Entrepreneur's M&A Journal with lawyer and Harvard MBA, Jim Cumbee, a weekly podcast dedicated to helping entrepreneurs make better decisions when selling, buying, or launching a business. And now, here's your host, Jim Cumbee.
Hello, friends. Welcome to this week's episode of Entrepreneur's M&A Journal. This is the podcast dedicated to buying or selling a business. Now, my goal is to help business owners gain a competitive advantage and make smart decisions when going through the M&A cycle. Each week I interview a successful, been there, done that entrepreneur, and through their real-life story going through the M&A cycle, I hope you will be inspired and more confident along your M&A journey. This week I'm talking with Shola Abidoye, who founded an innovative online lead generation business that she sold to a competitor after being in business for just 5 years. Shola offers keen insight on how to go through the M&A process, but pay particular attention to her advice on what she should have done to be more effective. Well, Shola, welcome to this week's episode. Now, you've got a really terrific story, but before we dive into it, tell us a little bit about your professional background.
First of all, Jim, thanks for having me on the show. How are you doing today?
I'm great, thanks.
Well, I am a serial entrepreneur, online advertising investor, and author, a native Washingtonian who grew up in Northwest Washington. And I have to tell you that it probably was my parents who exposed me to the importance of self-reliance. And so that's why I went into entrepreneurship. My colorful name is due to the fact that my dad immigrated from Nigeria to study engineering at GW. So That's George Washington,
by the way. That's George Washington.
Yeah, I guess you know, growing up in D.C., everyone said W for George Washington. And at the moment, I'm the co-founder and chief revenue officer for CONVERTPort. And our vision is to really bring sales automation to companies who want to scale their business without their best salesperson, who tends to be the business owner, and to really make their businesses more sellable because they have a systematic sales solution in place.
But you got there through a series of decisions you made earlier in your career. Tell us how you got involved before you sold your first company, how you started that company, or did you buy that company?
Right. Well, I've been a serial entrepreneur, and I like to count my day of starting full time since 2008. So before CONVERTPort, I grew 3 businesses by 10,000%. One of which we divested to a competitor. But to be pretty candid with you, Jim, I probably wouldn't be here as an entrepreneur if it weren't for people like Sam Hayes, who is someone that, and we talked a little bit about this beforehand, a professor at Harvard Business School, HBS, that you, funnily enough, had a class with. And right. Sam was a board of trustee member at Swarthmore College, the school that I went to. And he really exposed me to international business. So at the moment, I live between the East Coast, Baja, which is right on the tip of Mexico, and Europe. And I kind of got the international business bug because of Sam's mentorship. So it's funny how years after someone inspires you, you find them talking to a former student of theirs, and you never know where life will take you.
It's a small world. When did you start your online lead generation business?
In 2007, actually.
Okay.
And we exited in 2012.
Okay. Now, when you started that business, Shola, were you all thinking about an exit, or did you have a strategy in mind when you started as to what was going to happen to it?
You know, I'll be honest with you, Jim. I've heard other folks on your show before, and they always have the neatest answer. And I'll have to tell you that the short answer for me is no. Like most entrepreneurs, you think really seriously about the startup process. But if you're a private business, you tend to not think about the ending process.
Right.
So I was reading an interesting article by Exits, the folks at exits.com, and they said that the vast majority of private business owners, this probably resonates with what you've seen, they neither have a exit plan nor they have a succession plan. And I will tell you that I was definitely in that camp. But like a lot of entrepreneurs who are creative, you reach a certain level of success and you get bored and you're looking for the next big thing. And that leads you to having to make a decision about where you want to take the course of your life really quickly. I got to the point where everybody wants to be, which is you have this business, and you're living by the beach where I was at the time in the south of Spain, and everything is going well, it's profitable, but you don't have that fire that you used to when you started the business. And that really led me on a journey of self-discovery that I'm sure a lot of your listeners can identify with, where you're saying, okay, what am I going to do next? And that's when I decided that it was time to